the next one is, it's just a tip that I really think worked for me, and that is, you know, reading the health assessment book. That's the only book I've read, I swear. I've never opened other books other than that. In the health assessment book, they get to discuss everybody's system, what is normal and what is not. I read the health assessment book before I studied anything at all. So when we went and discussed medical surgical nursing, all the terms used there were already familiar to me. Like, for example, I've read on the book that there are many signs like the Blumberg sign and other Rovsing sign. You know, there are a lot of signs that you can assess in people with different cases. And when we went to medical surgical nursing, they were able to stress out like that those signs can be manifested in this certain conditions. And since I already read the health assessment book, it became easier for me to remember everything, and I was able to correlate like some concepts. Like, for example, when you do have chronic hypoxemia, there would be clubbing, and clubbing was discussed in the integumentary system in health assessment. And you know, you kind of connect the different systems that is involved in a certain disease. Like, for example, hypoxemia can be somewhat associated with the lungs, but you know, it manifests also in different body parts. So yeah, that's that. As I have mentioned, that was only the book that I have read. All the other subjects, I've relied on the notes that I already had when I was still in nursing school and the notes I had when I took up the review classes. So I would recommend that you also take a look at the notes that you did and wrote when you were still in nursing school, because when you're in a review, the professors are just trying to discuss some topics that they think would be crucial for us to know. Sometimes they do not include some of the things that were explained to us while we were in nursing school, because clearly we had a lot of time before. Like, there was 2 semesters for OB and a lot of semesters for medical surgical nursing. And when you're already in the review, you have like 2 or 3 days to discuss everything. So that's a small amount of time to be able to give all the information that you might need for the board exam. So I think it is also important that you go back to those notes, because during that time it was explained in a slower pace, and that there would be things that would be included in there that they might have missed or intentionally did not include when they're already doing the review. And for the next tip, it would be to reread your notes repeatedly. So if you have already seen my video about memorizing, I've stated there that the more I get to encounter the topics, the more I get to remember it. So yeah, I actually repeated reading my notes around twice, I think. Yeah. I actually didn't post a lot of things sa wall ko. I just actually had index papers wherein the lab values are there, and some of health assessment stuff, you know, the grading of the edema, the GCS, you know, just those assessment things that I think would be really crucial, not only in the board exams but also when I'm already working. So yeah, I actually had just index cards, and sometimes when I do have extra time, I just, you know, read it. Like, for example, if I'm stuck in traffic, I just, you know, get the index cards, because they're just, you can bring it like anywhere, wherever you go. Okay, and for the next one, if you're already tired, just stop. Well, just, you know, give your mind a break. It's okay, because based on my experience, around 2 weeks before the board exams, my mind was already rejecting whatever I was reading. Like, I had a lot of things that I haven't read yet. Like, for example, under disaster nursing, the different colored... Oh my gosh, I can't even remember now. But, you know, disaster nursing is really, you know, a broad topic. And you know how our country is at risk for earthquakes, storms, and a lot of disasters. So learning about that topic is really crucial. And that was actually one of the things I studied last. And my brain was actually rejecting everything I was reading already. So I was actually so frustrated, because I knew I needed to read more. But my brain just says no all the time. So what I did was, I started, you know, giving in to what my brain was maybe trying to say to me. So I started going to malls, going everywhere, taking a walk, and I also finished a couple of Korean dramas. So yeah, I actually just gave in to what my brain was asking me to do, and that is to stop studying already. I actually called my parents all the time before that I wasn't really confident about how I'm going to perform on the examinations. I told them just to be ready for whatever the results may be. But I'm pretty sure I did what my brain was capable of doing, and if it wasn't enough, then maybe I should try next time. It's fine. You know, as long as I learn from that experience. Although the pressure is really, you know, intense, especially in our school, because we were having a streak wherein we had already 100% passing rate for the past 4 years, and you know, the pressure was definitely there. And anyway, since I'm already talking about it, I'm just gonna mention the other tip, and that is to have realistic expectations. For me, I just really prepared myself for whatever the result may be, because I didn't really set my expectations that high, because what if I don't meet them, you know? Although there's a possibility that I will, but there's also a possibility that I wouldn't. So I just don't want to give my future self the, you know, the disappointment and the pain that I have to endure because I just didn't reach the expectation or goal that I was setting. So yeah, I think it is just, you know, important that you prepare for whatever the outcome might be. Although my professors would sometimes tell us that, you know, just look at whoever your seatmate is or whoever is in the room that you're doing your review classes with, because you'll never know who will be the future top-notchers of that certain exam. I just didn't really put that, you know, that pressure on myself to be one of the top-notchers, because, you know, if you look closely, like, to the ranking, sometimes the difference is just a matter of decimals. The chances are so slim. So yeah, for me, passing the exam was my only goal, because, you know, surviving nursing school is really a great accomplishment for me, and also graduating it with honors is really super bonus na siya. And also passing the exam would be great, and, you know, topping the exam is also a bonus. And for the last one, this isn't actually that specific for the board exam. Actually, this can be applicable to any other exams relating health and, you know, diseases and things like that. So if you have friends or family members who would like to talk about health or would like to share any relevant or recent issues regarding whatever is endemic or epidemic in your area or country, please do listen. And you also, you know, participate and be open in accepting it. Although these conversations often happen like at home or if you're outside hanging out, you know, every situation we have should be taken as a learning experience. So for example, usually at home, you know, we casually just talk about different diseases or different cases that we see. Especially right now that I'm already a nurse, I could easily understand what my mom is saying because she's a healthcare professional. So growing up, she was actually open in discussing different cases. She had the patience to, you know, explain to us the pathophysiology of, you know, other diseases. Although we were just kids that time, it really did help because I was able to understand and have knowledge about the disease from a professional and not just by, you know, some chismis or just haka-haka. So there was one time wherein schistosomiasis was epidemic here in our place, and eventually it became endemic already. So I actually explained this on my video about the healthcare system, the different, you know, the epidemic, sporadic, and things like that. So endemic. So in Palawan, as we all know, malaria is endemic, also in Rizal. But here in Eastern Samar, schistosomiasis is already endemic. I guess it was around 2017 or 2018. I can't really remember. So there was a time my mom was explaining to us how there are a lot of cases of schistosomiasis already. How do people acquire that disease? What are the early signs and symptoms that would be observed? And what are the long-term effects? And how is it treated? And things like that. She just, you know, casually discusses those things to us. A few years later, when we were already having our mock boards, around 10 items in a certain exam was all about schistosomiasis, and I got all the 10 items correct. I was able to answer the questions without even thinking much about it because, you know, it was already basic to me. But to other people, they were like, what is schistosomiasis? You know, they were too unfamiliar with the disease. And I just thought that maybe if I didn't really listen to my mom when she was explaining the disease to me years back, maybe I wouldn't have been able to answer the things that was asked in the exam. And starting that time, I was, you know, more open to listening to other people and learning from them, and you know, learning from them, and also sharing what my knowledge is about the certain topic, instead of just saying, you know, how other people just tell you edi wow, or like dami mong alam. Sometimes it's our attitude towards, you know, different learning opportunities we have that actually sabotages our, you know, our chances of learning. So the moral of the story is always be ready to learn, because you'll never know when you're going to need and use that information that you're going to learn from other people. So those are like the major things that I can clearly remember when I took the board exams. I hope that it would be of help to you guys. And sadly, a lot of board exams this year were cancelled and, you know, moved to a later date. But at some point, you need to take that exam, and that I hope that my experiences and strategies I used before would help you guys achieve whatever your goals are. Always keep in mind that every day is an opportunity to learn, and it is our choice whether we grab it or not. There would be always that space of uncertainty that you always feel, because no one knows what will appear on that exam. Just believe in yourself. As long as you think you already did what you could do, then I think you would be fine. And whatever the result will be, always be proud of yourself. So yeah, I hope you're all doing fine. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay informed, and stay at home. Okay? So again, thank you for watching, and see you on the next vlog. Bye!